All right, so good morning, everyone. Selamat datang and a very warm welcome to our online collaborative program. So it is a collaborative program between Telkom University and University Teknologi Malaysia, UTM. My name is Novi. I'm the chairperson for today's session. So we are very delighted to have you all today and joining this international academic collaboration that brings together great minds and from both universities. So, on behalf of the committee, I would like to extend our warmest greeting to our excellent speakers for today's session, Prof. Madya Dr. Maizaitulaidawati Binti Md Husin. So, good morning, Prof. And
Morning.
then our honorable representative from Telkom University. So, I saw Dr. Tora Fahrudin. So, welcome, Dr. Tora. And then the other faculty members from School of Applied Science. So welcome and good morning. And then the honorable representative from University Technology Malaysia. Yeah, thank you for joining us. And all students, participants for this class, students from Takam University as well as students from UTM. All right, so everyone, as we know that the rapid development of digital technology has brought significant changes, yeah, in many fields, so including accounting. So traditional accounting practices are now being reshaped with the use of artificial intelligence and then the cloud computing, automation, big data, and also blockchain technology. So this transformation not only improves efficiency and accuracy, but also the challenges accountants to develop new skills, adapt to digital tools, and embrace innovation in order to remain relevant to this evolving era. So today we are going to have the another session, yeah, another inputs from Dr. Maizaitulaidawati regarding the challenge of accounting. So hopefully through this collaboration, so we can explore more, we can explore these important issues, exchange perspective between Indonesia and also Malaysia. All right, so before we start the presentation from our speakers today, so let me tell you the basic rule for today's agenda, everyone. So during the speaker presentation, kindly turn off the microphone. And for those who want to ask a question during the presentation, please drop in the feature of chat and we will follow up those questions in the discussion session, yeah, after the presentation session. And then all participants are encouraged to turn on a video and in a group photo session at the end of the class. And then at the discussion session, so participants are encouraged to ask directly to the speakers. But if you have a trouble with the camera or for the video, let's say, or the microphone, you can drop your question in the chat box. And at the end of the session, we will share the feedback and attendance link. So please fill out the feedback and attendance link to get e-certificate. Yeah. All right. So without further ado, let's begin our first class. We encourage our all students to stay engaged. Feel free to use the chat if you want to deliver your question. All right, so please welcome Prof. Madya Dr. Maizaitulaidawati Binti Md Husin. So
All
please.
right. Thank you, everyone. Let me share my screen. Wait a moment, yeah. Okay, can you see my screen now?
Yes, it's visible.
Okay, great. Okay, Assalamualaikum. Good morning. Thank you for joining my class. So, today's session I will talk about challenges of accounting. We know the world is evolving. There are many challenges every profession needs to face right now, especially when we talk about the technology. So, in the field of accounting, the AI, the technology also affect the accounting field. So, in today's session, in these 2 hours, I will share with you guys what are the the major challenges the accountants professions needs to be aware of, and how they can deal with it, and what they can learn. The lessons from the previous practices. All right, so let me introduce myself. Wait a moment, yeah. I'm not sure why the slides. Wait a moment. Okay, so let me introduce myself. My name is Maizaitulaidawati Md Husin. I'm currently an associate professor at Azman Hashim International Business School in UTM. I basically located in Kuala Lumpur. UTM has a very big campus, the main campus in Johor Bahru, by the way. So Azman Hashim International Business School is basically focused on postgraduate studies, where we only have 4 programs: MBA, MSc, PhD, and DBA. So a little bit about my background. I got my bachelor's degree in finance, my master's in banking before I further my study for PhD program in Islamic economy, whereby I focus in takaful. And I also one of the certified Islamic financial planner in Malaysia. And just recently, I completed a certification from ACCE on fintech for finance and business leaders. So when we talk about accounting, basically I have several experience giving advice to small, medium, and enterprises in Malaysia on how they can enhance their accounting practices in order to make sure that they keep with the to keep with the technology evolvement, and also with the current challenges that they have to face in this business world. I also put my website and also my email address, just in case you want to keep in touch with me later after the class. All right, so in this class, basically, I have 3 minor exercise. 2 will be completed in the class, and another one after the class sessions ends. All right. So let's go through. And if you have any questions, just let us know in the chat section. All right. So, what I'm going to cover today, so basically this module will focus on the critical challenges facing by accountants today. Like I mentioned earlier, accounting is facing many challenges, which I will brief you guys later on in the next few slides. So I will share with you guys as well what are basically the practical solutions, what are the example facing by the big 4 companies, by the SMEs, in order to, to face, to brace the challenges that they have to face, so that I hope at the end of the session you will have a deeper understanding about the accounting challenges. All right. Okay, so let's kickstart by this little exercise. What I'm gonna do, when a moment, I will share this link with you guys. What you need to do is, I will put the link in the chat section for you guys to put the details. Wait a moment, yeah. Okay. Where is the chat? Chat. I couldn't find the chat section. Okay, here. Okay, I put the link there. You guys can go to that link, and what you need to do is, based on the words that you see, there are 3 keywords there. I will share my screen again. Wait a moment, yeah. Okay, there are 3 keywords there: challenges, technology, and globalizations. So based on these keywords, you just ignore the word number 4, okay? Challenges, technology, and globalizations. So what you need to do, based on these words, either you can choose all 3, or you can choose either one. What does it make you think of? You need to relate with the accounting. All right? Whatever cross your mind, just put it there. You can click the plus button and put your input there. Okay, I will give you about 5 minutes to complete this little exercise just to make sure that our brain working this morning. Okay, guys, can you put your input? I couldn't see any response yet so far. Challenges, technology, and globalization. You can put your feedback as short as possible, but don't make it so lengthy because it'll be easier for us to, discuss further about these keywords. Because I think we will talk about all these keywords a lot during our session today. So, okay, one of you mentioned Industry 4.0. Okay, that's great. That's something that, Industry 4.0 is the latest technology which affect the whole industry. I mean, the whole, all the industries in the world. So, yeah. All right. Anybody else? Anything that cross your mind? There is no right or wrong. I just want to know what you are thinking of. MSME prefer manual record. I totally agree with you. Um, Even in Malaysia, after several years giving advice to SME and also MSME, we can say that most of them prefer manual record, especially when the founders are how to say veteran in a way that they are not really embrace the technology, so most of them prefer bookkeeping. Most of them still um do the calculation, accounting calculations, during I mean using manual records and so on. Okay, one of you mentioned decrease of some jobs after autonomous era. Yes, that's exactly true. Because we know that when technology evolving, when the technology enter the industry, so some of the processes can be automated. And these processes, of course, able to, enhance the efficiency of the workflow, but it affects the workplace in term of the human resource. So some of the jobs that might be affected, especially when they are when the technology enter the industry. Yeah, one of you also mentioned about digitalization. Yeah, we will talk about digitalization as well. Uh, I can see, oh, the Thoughtful Hashra is very active today. You mentioned about standardization for globalizations. Yes, I will also explain about this later, where how basically the accountants need to make sure that they keep up, with the standardizations in accounting standards. All right. Thank you very much for your contribution. So let's kickstart with my input for today. Oh, another one. Many creative jobs will be created human AI collaboration scheme. Yeah, that's right. And challenges analyzing and ensuring the accuracy of the data. Yeah. Even we rely on the technology. Yeah. Um, One of the things the accountants needs to make sure is the accuracy of the data. So that's the reasons why there are lots of standards that they are need to comply to. Okay, I will stop sharing and share my slides again. Thank you very much for your participations in this little exercise. Okay, so let's see. Here are basically key challenges in accounting. First, we need to comply with regulations, which is increasingly complex. For the past several years, the compliance, the regulations are evolving. All right. The multinational companies need to comply with various tax reporting requirements. Yeah. Even multinational companies in different in different countries like Malaysia, Singapore, Indonesia, they have different tax reporting requirement. In fact, in addition of that, they also need to keep up with IFRS. So basically, IFRS itself is evolving. For example, there are IFRS 16, which mentions on lease, 17 on insurance contracts, and so on. So accountants nowadays, they need to make sure that they keep embrace, I mean, they keep they need to enhance their knowledge in order to make sure that they constantly update their informations, their knowledge on the current updates of the compliance and regulation, not only in their own countries, but also around the world. All right. In addition to that, one of the key challenges in accounting is about data security. So we talked about technology earlier, Industry 4.0, all those, how the technology will be affect the accounting practices. But when we talk about technology, data security is one thing that we need to take care of, all right? Because the security of the data, when we talk about technology, data is the goal in the technology, where we need to make sure that the data that we keep, the data that we have, are not exposed to others. I will share with you guys later on in the next few slides how companies facing risk in terms of data breaching, which basically affect the trust of their customers, yeah, which of course affect their businesses. All right. So yeah, data security, one thing that you need to consider, which you need to take care of in the field of accounting. And then technology, which basically, when we talk about technology integration, yeah, it's basically hinder operational efficiency in a way that sometimes when we talk about technology, sometimes company they use the technology in a way that they have, let's say, different software for different purpose. It's good because you can automate so many things, but they need to also make sure that it will not hinder the operational efficiency in a way that you need to, take the data from one software to another, from one operation sections to another, and so on. All right. Because data integration is very important. The smoothness of the information from from the first process to the last process should be there in order to make sure that you fully use the technology in an efficient way. All right, I will give an example later. Don't worry. And then one of the thing which is also important is basically the talent shortage. All right, especially when we talk about the quality of accounting services, and also when we talk about those who are in IT who need to manage the accounting software. All right. Because when we talk about technology, when we talk about the technicians and all those in that field, they are basically expert in their own area. But accounting is a little bit different because they need to know with the regulations, they need to know with the standards, they need to know that they need to comply with this and that. So there are many institutions, there are many stakeholders involved. So it's very important to make sure that the talent are really aware of all this what we call it all these technology involvement and compliance and regulations in the industry. All right. Especially nowadays, yeah, when we talk about digital skills such as data analytics, AI, and ESG, I will talk about ESG later, and ESG. So this compliance, yeah, this compliance regulations requirement are something very heavy and difficult to comply with, especially for young firms. Okay. Here are the example of the what's basically happened in the industry. For example, I give one example on data breach, one example on compliance failure. Um, on data breach, I give an example. Company B experienced a major security incidents where sensitive financial information was compromised. And of course, when we talk about data breach, it will affect the customer trust. All right. Not only in accounting standard, not only in accounting field, when we talk about data breach, it can happen in various industry. In fact, lately, for the past few months, weeks, if I'm not mistaken, in Malaysia itself, the citizens are they are talking about data breach, about financial information. I mean, data informations, including financial, from which data has been stored in the government's institution. So, data breach not only affected accounting company, which is very important because they talk about financial data, but also in other institutions, other companies, other fields, I mean, other industries. So that means the talent in technology is very important in the accounting field. All right. Even though the accountants play a very big role in this field, because the technology has been evolved, because technology impacted the industry so much. So those in the technology field play a very big role in order to make sure that the data privacy and security of the company are well taken care of. All right. Okay. Another example on compliance failure, company A overlook critical regulations. I will give more example later in the next few slides. This lead to significant financial penalties, and the stakeholders lost confidence in the company. All right. So this is basically the impact when something happen, especially when we talk about the big company where they need to comply with regulations, especially for companies in a very tight regulations where they need to comply with various standards. All right. When we talk about compliance, we can see that companies, they need to make sure that they comply with all those regulations. If there are audit findings, so they need to make sure that they're able to, justify what's basically happening in order to make sure they're able to um, avoid the financial penalties. Because when there are financial penalties, when this particular news been exposed to the customers and the stakeholders, of course, they will lose confidence in the company, and of course, it will affect their businesses. So that's something that big companies need to be very careful. Okay. All right. So let's see a little bit on the recent trends in accounting. So just now, when we mentioned about when we play that little scribble words, so I can see several important words including Industry 4.0, the challenges in terms of sustainability and so on. So I will give you little example on trends in accounting. especially on automation, remote service, and also sustainability. I think that these three keywords are very important, especially in this evolving technology. All right, where automation basically, of course, will increase speed and accuracy of the services, and also in terms of the routine of the accounting tasks. All right. Later on in the next few slides, I will share with you guys the latest the popular software used by the small firms, middle-sized firms, and also big firms in accounting. But when we talk about automations, yeah, we know that the automation will be able to enhance the speed, accuracy of the services, accuracy of the accounting tasks that they perform, which basically can allow the accountants to focus on, to divert their focus on giving focus on the compliance and regulations, advisory, analytics, and so on, which basically can bring money to the company as well. All right. But this automation basically have one of the challenges is basically the knowledge gaps. Yeah. Because when we talk about the knowledge gaps, the skills required in automation in accounting is very the gap is very big. All right. So for those who are really interested in to further, to really go into accounting field, this automation or technology is something that you need to be embraced lah, that you need to make sure that you are aware of all those happening in the industry. All right. And then we talk about the remote service. Basically, remote service becoming popular after COVID-19. Yeah, because yeah, everybody needs to work from home. They cannot go to the company. So it's increasing popular after that COVID-19, and most of the industry really enjoy using remote services. They offer remote services even after COVID-19. But we can see that the technology evolving in terms of remote services, whereby by having remote services, the accountants, yeah, the workers can work from anywhere. Even the staff, yeah, the accountants able to access the company data from home, which will allow or give more freedom for the workers to work from anywhere, which basically very important nowadays, because we can see the changes in terms of the work culture, whereby people are working from home, at the cafe, at their own preferred environment, and so on. So but when we talk about remote services, the things that we need to be aware of is the cybersecurity, yeah, data protection, digital security, I mean digital literacy as well, and so on. So even remote services is important, is trending nowadays, but companies need to make sure that their workers, their staff really understand about the security, yeah, about the information leakage which might happen if they access the data from outside. Okay. Next is sustainability. So, whenever we talk about in any industries, including in accounting, so we talk about ESG. Yeah, ESG here, ESG there. You need to comply with ESG and so on. In fact, in Malaysia, I'm not really sure in Indonesia what's the situations right now. In Malaysia, ESG requirement is evolving. Yeah. Companies need to report how they comply with ESG and so on. All right. So the impact of sustainability is I mean uh big companies nowadays, they are very evolving in a way that how they report. In fact, I give you an example, companies like Unilever, Nestle, they have their own integrated report on sustainability to make sure that they report what are the sustainability practices that they apply in the company, how they comply with the ESG requirements and so on. All right. But we can say that the ESG practices and standards are still evolving and not very uniform in a way that companies still have freedoms to embrace the sustainability practices that they apply in the company. Right? Okay. So we already talked about the challenges, we already talked about the trends. So here are some of the solutions, which basically are important in order to counter the accounting challenges. Because when we talk about cybersecurity, so of course companies need to invest in cybersecurity, all right? And investment in cybersecurity is not cheap. I would say it's very huge amount that you need to invest. I mean, the company need to invest. That's the reasons why SMEs prefer to do manual processes, because it's not for SMEs, for example, investment in technology and digital literacy is something that what we say, they need to really make sure that they are good at it. All right. Um, when investing in cybersecurity, of course, you need to invest in term of money, also in term of time, because you really need to make sure that you also have the expert who can give you advice in terms of cybersecurity risks and all those other risks which might affect the company in terms of data and so on. All right. And of course, the company also need to make sure how to protect sensitive information, especially for companies in accounting. We store a lot of financial data. We store a lot of the personal information of our customer, right? Their bank account, let's say, their informations in term of the personal informations, name, all those company informations, company profit and loss, all those informations, which basically sensitive but need to be protected. All right, especially when if the informations, all this information's leakage, it will affect the trust of the customer to the company. All right. In addition to that, in order to ensure the regulatory adherence, previously I mentioned about how the accounting standards or accounting regulations is different from one country to another. So for those companies who are practice, I mean, let's say one company originate in Malaysia, but also have another, another branch or another institutions in another countries. So they need to make sure that they comply with all those regulations. All right. I give you an example in China, let's say, last time I have experience interviewing one of the lawyer company, a very big lawyer company in China, whereby that company is heavily giving advice to companies in China, because in China nowadays, not to say most of the company, there are many companies has been sued by the government because they use technology who are the technology that are not legal in China. I give an example. We know that China is very strict in terms of technology. Yeah, so the companies over there also need to comply with several regulations in terms of the technology, whereby if they when they got caught, they need to pay a huge amount of money as the to the government as a fine. So so these are basically things that institutions need to aware of, because compliance to the regulators in the own countries is very important. When I have the interview with that China lawyer, the China's lawyers mentioned that one of the issues is basically because let's say that one company in China, that company also have another branch in another country, but the company in China basically receive advice from different countries, which basically have different regulations. So that's one of the reasons why accountants need to very really aware of the regulations in their own countries, right? Because different countries have different regulations. All right. Okay, so when we talk about regulatory compliance, technology, yeah, there are also issues related on ethical considerations, whereby, yeah, we can say that ethics is very important. There are many companies has been called because of unethical activities, yeah. So basically, ethical dilemma can impact reporting and decision making, especially because when big companies, they need to report their fact and figures. So sometimes the BOD they prefer to hide some informations in order to make sure that they look clean from the perspective of the stakeholder. But they need to make sure that these ethical matters are very important, especially when we talk about reporting and decision making. When unethical issues happen, it will affect the company, especially when we talk about the financial ethical in terms of the financial issues. All right. Same goes to the technology adaptation I mentioned earlier. When the company use technology, they need to make sure that the technology integrate with each other. All right. If you use different technology, different software for different purpose, which is good, but the efficiency of the information, the integration might be affected, which basically will give the accountants more pressure in order to understand all the software, in order to make sure that that particular informations synchronize and the flow is okay before they report before they make the reporting. All right. Financial transparency, which is basically very important, especially in to build trust with the stakeholder. So that's the reasons why ethics and finance are really some things that that needs to be giving more weights, yeah, especially when we talk about the accounting field. Okay, I give you some facts. Small firms, this is based on the data, yeah. Small firms often enjoy a higher profit margin due to lower overhead costs, and large firms basically face significantly higher compliance costs, impacting their overall profitability. Why? Because the larger the firms, they need to comply with various regulations. So, compliance cost is something that they need to, invest in. Sometimes, because I'm from banking industry, some banks, yeah, let's say they have issues in terms of the technology disruption. Let's say the app that they provide unable to work for the for few hours, they can be sued by the central bank because of this failure, and that's basically one of the compliance costs that they need to pay. Yeah, same goes to the accounting field. If the accountants, yeah, the company did not comply with one of the regulations and then get caught, so they need to pay for the fine, all right, in terms of the compliance cost. Okay. I share a little bit. I think for those who are in the accounting field, you are aware of this about SOA, the Sarbanes-Oxley Act, and then we have IFRS adoption. So SOA was basically uh, originate in the US back in 2002, yeah, but after scandals of Enron and WorldCom, so basically we no longer use SOA, but SOA basically focus on corporate governance, yeah. It focus on corporate governance, internal controls, and auditor independence. But nowadays we use IFRS, yeah, which basically a set of accounting standards which need to be complied based on the IASB, International Accounting Standards Board. All right. So IFRS need to be comply by financial, by institutions around the world. They have the common global framework. So it's something that are really tough to comply with because the regulations tightens over the years with several amendments. Yeah, when they found something lacking in terms of the regulation, so they tighten it. So yeah, these regulations are something that companies need to comply with in order to avoid the compliance cost I mentioned earlier. Okay. So let's see a little bit timeline of the recent trends in accounting. The rise of the cloud accounting. We can see cloud accounting solutions has transformed over the years, and it affect businesses, including the small businesses, on how they can manage their finance efficiently. But even cloud accounting are very popular. I would say that MSMEs are really reluctant to use this cloud accounting, all those software, because of the digital literacy issues, because of the trust issues, because of the, they are not really embrace the technology, especially as I mentioned earlier, especially if the founder of the small firms are not the recent gen. They are almost retired. Let's say, when I have opportunity to have a focus group discussion with several small businesses in Kuala Lumpur. Those small businesses are basically have physical store in what we call it, Jalan. I can't remember that jalan. That basically that road is basically full of small businesses. It's very foreigners and tourists really like to go to that road in order to, buy stuff because they are selling traditional attire, they are selling all those handcraft and so on. But when I interviewed all those businesses, yeah, they are still rely on the manual processes. Yeah, they still they still put their facts and figures in paper. All right. But some of the businesses, they do put their informations in cloud accounting, but only when they are youngsters in that particular company. For example, the founder is basically the mother, and the in that company is a family business. Yeah, so those the daughter or the son who are really aware of technology, they are really digitally literate, so they're able to help the business in terms of cloud accounting and so on. All right. Okay, next we talk about the growth of AI, especially in financial analysis. So AI impacted us a lot. We can see, as simple as a simple instruction can give you output of a very depth informations about the data, including financial data. All right. So AI nowadays has enhanced the data analysis, so it's able to provide deeper insight and, of course, automations in accounting field. Right. So, in terms of reporting, I don't see any issues in terms of accounting reporting anymore because of the growth of AI in financial analysis. The most important thing is how well you understand the data. Yeah, how well you can ensure that the data is sufficient and able to provide informations to the respective audience. All right. Okay, next, we talk about the integrated reporting. So companies are increasingly adopting integrated reporting in ensure for them to align with financial and non-financial performance metrics. So basically, um, when we talk about the companies, yeah, especially the big ones lah, so they need to comply with financial and non-financial performance. Yeah, financial performance, non-financial performance, not to mention the ESG and so on. So they try to integrate everything because they need to make sure that the data, they have the seamless data. All right. But as I mentioned earlier, it's very important to make sure that all this data, they need to make sure that the data are valid. They need to make sure that the consistency, the flow, the process are well taken care of. All right. Okay. I would like to share with you guys some of the timeline of major accounting scandals. I'm not really sure if you are aware of this, but I would say you might aware of Lehman Brothers. Lehman Brothers, which basically exposed accounting manipulations, which basically leads to financial crisis back in 2008, 2010. Do you remember during 2010 how bad the world financial crisis? That's basically one of the accounting scandals, which basically impact not only the companies but also the financials. The finance around the world. All right. So, Lehman Brothers, for example, they bankrupt with 600 billion which make it largest in the US history. This is something, that companies need to learn by these mistakes. Yeah, how this is basically how ethical considerations really matters. When we talk about accounting manipulations, is something heavy because manipulations will affect the the stability of the company, and it will affect the company's standing as well, right? So when this happened, it shattered the investors' confidence, yeah, with especially in terms of the financial reporting. I'm not really sure if you're aware about Volkswagen. Yeah, back in 2015, Volkswagen was caught installing defeat device, yeah, in cars whereby they cheat the emission test, they report lower emissions than the reality. Okay, so this misinterpretation of the environment's compliance data is something, should be avoided. Yeah, especially because it's misleading. Yeah, they report this emission at this level basically is higher, so it's misleading. It's affect the investors and regulations. I mean the regulators. Is basically also a fraud. So this ethics and reporting scandal like this, big companies, um, it's also happen in big companies. So we can expect that, for small companies, they might have this tendency as well. But this is something that we need to ponder of, especially when these particular issues happen, the regulations will be tightened. All right. I also give an example, Enron, which collapsed in 2001 because of the massive fraud, which basically affect their regulatory reform. Same goes to Toshiba in 2015, where they basically overstate their profit. All right. So this pressure in accounting is basically really, uh, you know, really affect the big companies. All right. I share a little bit with you guys the timeline of accounting standards. As I mentioned earlier, accounting is a very what would I say? It's very tough in a way that accountants need to comply with all these regulations. Yeah, GAAP updates, IFRS change, technological advancement, regulatory reform, sustainability reporting. That's the reasons why those in the accounting field they are always stressed, especially when times for time for the reporting whereby I have several friends in accounting fields. Whenever time for them to do the reportings, they always come back home late. They are sleep in the office because they need to make sure that they're able to comply with all these requirement within the stipulated time and so on. All right. Okay, so when we talk about the adoption of new accounting technologies, so we move a little bit to the technologies, yeah. Um, it's basically can increase adoption rates in a way that there are various innovative solutions around the world, which the accountants and also companies can use. I will share with you guys later on to make sure that they stay competitive in the market. So if they are still rely on, manual reporting, it's very difficult for them to trace the facts and figures. I mean the figures from the profit and loss, from the cash in, cash out. Yeah, I'm talking about the MSMEs. So MSMEs need to really make sure that they embrace the innovative solutions offering in the market, especially in terms of the software that they can use in order to report their company standing. All right. In addition to that, it's also impact on operational efficiency because as we discussed earlier, yeah, technology can significantly enhance speed and accuracy in accounting tasks, but it also affect the expert, especially because when this technology enter the market, enter the industry, yeah, in the company, so some staff might lose their jobs because their jobs can be automated. All right. Okay. So here are some of the software comparisons. Okay, I will show you guys. I'm not really sure whether you are aware of all this software. The QuickBooks, Zero, FreshBooks, Wave, and so on. Okay, let me explain a little bit. QuickBooks is basically best for SMEs and startups. Let's say you have small companies, yeah, you can use QuickBooks Online and Zero. This is basically a very good software in terms of providing invoicing, yeah, e-invoicing, payroll and tax filing, integration with the technology, time tracking, expenses management, and so on. There are pros and cons for each of the software. For example, QuickBooks is very user-friendly, yeah, and it cloud-based, whereby it widely used by SMEs and startup. When it's cloud-based, so you can access the data from anywhere around the time, yeah, around the world, anytime. But yeah, the subscription cost grows with features, meaning that as the features enhance, you need to pay more. This is something that SMEs and startups usually try to avoid. But giving the advantage of, this particular software is very, what would I say, is very um easy to use, it's very user friendly. So there are many companies willing to subscribe to QuickBooks Online. All right. For Zero, basically, it's easy to use. It also provides strong invoicing and mobile friendly as well. So you're able to access all the data from your phone, but the reporting is quite limited, especially because of the, there are some informations that you cannot generate from Zero. All right. FreshBooks is basically more suitable for freelancers, with those who provide online services or online businesses and so on. Because FreshBook basically provide end-to-end accounting and automation. Yeah, for usually freelancers are very digital literate, so they're able to understand how the integration of FreshBooks is quite affordable as well, and of course it's automation friendly. So that's one of the reasons why freelancers prefer to use FreshBook. But as I mentioned, uh, as the technology evolve, the digital literacy of the users must be evolved as well. So for those who are not really digitally literate, they might be difficult to understand the flow of FreshBooks. I mean the how to use it, how to report, how to come up with all this reporting and so on. So they need to learn, but from my own personal observations, yeah, I don't think freelancers having difficulties in understanding FreshBooks software, because they are usually digital. Their digital literacy is very high. All right. So there is also Wave. Wave is also popular among freelancers and micro businesses. Yeah, whereby this particular software able to provide invoicing, receipt, and expensive tracking. It provides free basic features and simple for small users, but also same with QuickBooks. the subscription cost grows with the features, and there is also limited scalability in terms of the usage lah, meaning that there are some of the informations are not available in Wave but available in QuickBooks. All right, um, um, you can try to download and use this particular software to check on their user friendliness, yeah, the app and so on. So for those businesses, it's very important for them. Okay. All right. There is another simple exercise for you guys to make sure that you understand what I'm talking about. So this is a little scenario. So let's say your SME is moving to Zero or QuickBooks. So what benefits and risks you should consider? So I have the dashboard for you to put your feedback. You need to think about the benefit. I just need one benefit and one risk from you guys. Okay, I will stop sharing for a while. I will open the dashboard. Wait a moment, yeah. I will open the dashboard and I will put the link in the chat section. Okay, there you go. That's the link. You can go into that link. I need one risk, one benefit that you can think of when you are moving from manual to Zero or QuickBooks. Wait a moment, yeah. I will share my screen again. I can see few of you in the platform already. Good job. How to share my screen? Okay, I'm sharing my screen now. Okay, I will give you guys about 5 minutes to think about it. One risk, one benefit. And it's great if you can also put your name in your feedback so that, perhaps there are extra marks for this. Okay. I don't need a very lengthy answer, yeah. Just one word is sufficient, or if you have one simple sentence, it's also acceptable. I'm still waiting for the answer. I can see you guys there, but none response yet. I think you're still thinking, wow, okay, got one answer there. All right, I'm still waiting for others. Okay, two persons already put their feedback. Good job. All right, 3. Okay, I need more. All right, I can see 4 of you already responded. All right, 5 of you. I will share my screen so that you can see. Wait a moment, yeah. Sharing my screen. Wait a moment. All right. Okay. Neva Talita says for the benefit, I guess it can automate the reporting, and for the risk, the cost of the application. All right. Blushing Dory, they need to recalculate the beginning inventory to use the tool if they are a company that still use manual recording. Yeah. Mm-hmm. You mean, based on my understanding, you mean the information, the past informations, yeah? All right. Milka mentions the benefits are automates repetitive tasks like data entry, invoicing, and bank reconciliations, yeah? The risk is transferring data from manual records to QuickBooks Online can lead to mistakes, especially yeah. That's true as well because when we talk about manual entry, manual entry is really risky because of the risk of foresight. Yeah, I mean, some information, the manual error might happen. That can also happen when you are transferring the data from manual recording to the software as well. Okay. Reza Hasna mentioned that cloud-based access, okay, time saving, of course, improve accuracy, which can reduce errors. Yeah, we talked about it just now. Easy collaboration with multiple users. Yeah, that's very important. Yeah, because when we use the software, different people can access the same information of data. So, it will be easy for those who in need of the data to check on the informations that they are looking for. Scalable, which might be easy for the company to grow. All right, wide integration, which can connect with different kind of software and inventory tools and so on. Yeah, good. Risk, ongoing subscription cost, of course, it's not free when you use the software. Internet independence is very important, especially for those companies who are established in the rural area. This might be things that need consider, yeah, internet connectivity. Yeah, the learning curve, the staff may need time to adjust with the software, to train them, data migration issues. Wow, you guys really good. Okay, I can see from Cindy. The benefit easy and flexible, cost effective, automation, yeah, integration. What else? The risk of data errors in terms of the data migrations, security and compliance. Yes, we talk a lot about it just now. Limited features, yeah, which that's the reasons why whenever you want to use the software, you need to make sure that you know what you want to do, what kind of informations you want to put in the software, what are the reporting that you want to generate, and you need to make sure that the software able to meet your requirements. Otherwise, you just waste of money because subscribing to the software is not really cheap. In fact, you might waste your time in understanding how to use the software, but at the end, you unable to get what you want. All right. Okay, I read another one, yeah, from Salda. Zero QuickBooks makes accounting easier through automation, flexibility, and cost savings. But businesses should watch for data migration errors, limited features, and the learning curve of new customers. Yeah. All right, guys. Thank you very much for responding. For those who are still typing, you can continue doing so while I'm continue with my slides. There are several slides to go. We have about 40 minutes. All right. Wait a moment. I'm going to share my slides again. Okay. All right. I would like to share with you guys accounting challenges by category. So basically, let's say one company they want to analyze the compliance, technology, and people issues. So uh, this is something that the company need to really look into. All right. Let's say they have different projects. All right. In terms of the technology for let's say the category one is the technology, and for the technology they have different project one, project two, and project three. So they need to have this particular landscape, yeah, this particular what we call it, this particular canvas, in order to make sure they keep focus on what they are going to achieve, and so that they able to come up with the solutions or decisions, which project is much more better. I mean, which project is much more cost effective, for example. All right. Okay. So what are basically the effective approach? What are the strategies in order to overcome all those accounting challenges that we mentioned, that we talked about earlier? There are several things that we need to consider. First, of course, we need to make sure that there are continuous education programs across the staff. Yeah, the staff need to keep updated on the accounting standard, on the technology affected the industry. All right, so the company need to invest on the educations of the staff. And then as the company embrace the technology to automate the processes, yeah, and reduce human errors, they need to make sure that this process are well taken care of. They need to recheck. There must be an officer who do the quality checks and so on, yeah, the QC tasks and so on. All right. In addition to that, they need to make sure that they strengthen internal controls to enhance the accuracy, and also to make sure that there is no fraudulent activities within the organization. Because when we talk about the technology, if there is only one person who are handling it, which is quite rare for big organizations, but yeah, internal controls is very important to make sure that those those unethical reporting or activities like happen to Toshiba, Volkswagen, and Lehman Brothers that we talked about earlier will not happen. All right. And of course, they need to engage with stakeholders to ensure that the transparency and accountability in the financial reporting practices. And of course, regular audits is very important. But when we talk about the accounting field, yeah, audit is not something that rare in the organizations. All right. So this regular audits is basically to ensure that the company able to improve their financial health of the company, that they comply with the regulations, that they're able to identify discrepancies, and so on. All right. I'm share with you guys a little bit some pictures that presents the visual picture of accounting technology, um, compliance challenges, and also strategic plan and efforts in modern businesses. You can see that the first picture up there on your right is basically the software used by companies, which can also be accessed from phone, yeah, which is good. You can see all those data, which is tally. You can access it from anywhere. And then the picture in the middle is basically the technology that they can use, yeah. And down there is the strategic planning efforts. Although you have the data, you have the technology, but we still need human to make decisions. Okay. So I give figures here. 45% basically is the impact of automations on accounting jobs. So even we agree that technology basically affect the human, the human jobs, but it's affect 45%, yeah, the automations on accounting jobs. So the introduction of automation in accounting is basically might be, of course, we predict to transform the job roles, leading to job displacement and creation in the sector. But we still need human to make decisions, as I mentioned earlier, as we see in the previous slides, yeah. Because the technology cannot make decisions for us. Even they have, even the technology can come up with this, with the data. We also need the brain, all right, to make decisions on what's best for the company. All right. So what we need to do, we need to embrace the technology, but we also need to make sure that we keep updated with all those informations. All right, so the job displacement, the compliance pressure, the significant threats to data security, the complexity of the accounting standards, and the ESG impact assessment is, I would say, are among the key challenges in accounting field that we have discussed earlier. All right. I also would like to share with you guys some informations. This is the what we call it, the figure that shows scatter plot that illustrate the inverse relationship between accounting job, the growth, and the automation adoption rate over the past decades. You can see how it's basically affect as the automation adoptions increase. Yeah, the job growth stagnates, and we basically need more professionals to adapt to this evolving industry landscape. So you don't have to be afraid of the technology, because sometimes people are afraid the technology will take away all those my skills. But basically we need technology to ensure that we're able to move forwards. Yeah. Okay. This is basically the quiz which you need to do at your own time, at your own pace. All right, I will share with you guys later. I will also share the slides with you guys later on. All right. So thank you very much. I end my presentation, and if you have any questions, I'm very happy to answer your questions. Anything, guys, you can put in the chat comments, or you can, unmute yourself and to ask the questions.
All right, thank you very much, Prof. Maizaitulaidawati, for the explanation. It's very comprehensive explanation. Yeah, students, do you have a question so far? So if you want to ask a question, you may unmute your microphone and then ask directly to our speakers, or maybe you can drop your question in the chat box. All right, we have one question in the chat box from Siti Rizkiatullah. So, despite the fact that technologies such as Google Workspace, Spreadsheet, and AppScript offer a free and highly accessible platform for financial record keeping, many SMEs remain unwilling to adopt them. So, we could develop a basic application using AppScript at the university level. So, what are the barriers preventing these businesses from making the switch? All right, so please, Dr. Maizatul.
Okay, let me wait a moment, yeah. Despite the fact that technologies such as Google Workspace, okay, offer a free and highly accessible for many okay, we could develop a basic application at the university level. All right, what are the barriers preventing this business from making the switch? All right. Okay, it's a very good question, because it's something that we need to ponder as well. At the university level, you can develop a basic application such as AppScript. But what crossed my mind is basically how are you going to target the market? All right. And how are you going to reach to the customer? I mean, the businesses. When we talk about the Google application, the spreadsheets, the app script, it's well known. So when we talk about the well-known software, well-known technology, sometimes when we talk about the technology, people usually use the technology because they trust it. So how they got the trust? Because might be from word of mouth. Perhaps their friends, their families already have experience using that technology. In fact, when we talk about Google, yeah, Google have their own Google review, for example. So people usually, when they are satisfied or dissatisfied with the technology that you use or the services that they use, they can put their comments or remarks over there, which basically can be one of the foundations, which can be one of the points for decision making for others to decide to use it or not. But when we talk about the private applications developed by university or individual person, for example, you need to make sure that how you can reach the target market, how you can compete, not to say compete, how you can complement, or how you can make sure that they choose you instead of Google, let's say. All right, that's thing that you need to think of. That's basically one of the barriers that basically prevent the businesses from switch from something that are well known to something that are private. Especially because when we talk about technology, trust is very important. Yeah, how they need to make sure that these app scripts, let's say, able to take care of the data that they stored in the application, for example. Which is something that you need to consider when you develop your own applications. All right, I hope I answer your questions.
All right, so is it clear, Siti Rizkiatullah? Okay, all right. I think the answer is clear. So, other students, do you have a question? Ah, okay. From Miss Alit, yeah, I have a question. Given that some organizations still mandate physical evidence of payment and handwritten signature for finance reports, how can we convince or strengthen our recommendation to persuade them to slowly adopt a financial automation system? All right.
Yeah, this is basically what we call it a very issues happening around the world. Yeah, it's very difficult for us to persuade those who are really relying on paper-based reporting. I mean, yeah, everything handwritten. Even in Malaysia, there are still institutions. I mean, there are still SMEs, MSMEs are still relying heavily on paper. Recording and so on. So it's not easy, yeah, to convince them, especially if they are in rural areas. In city area, it might not so difficult to convince them because the internet connection is okay. Yeah, the digital literacy is great in the city center. Most who are working in the city center are those in the latest gen. Yeah, so they are really aware of technology. Everybody have their smartphones and so on. So, this issue basically is heavily happen those in the rural areas, especially when internet connection is not there. Yeah, it's very difficult for the customer to reach them and so on. So, financial automation system, when we talk about financial information system to them, their mind might think of something that are very complicated, very difficult to achieve, yeah, especially when they need to be in front of the computer, or yeah, in front of the smartphone to enter all those data, and then they might have difficulty to generate the information, which button to press and so on. All those small issues basically happen to this reluctant to use the technology. So what we can do basically is we need to enhance digital literacy. Yeah, especially to those in the rural areas. There are many in Malaysia. There are many efforts taken by the government. Yeah, in order to make sure that we reach those businesses in the rural areas, teach them on how to enhance their digital literacy, financial literacy as well. In fact, in UTM, we do have integrate those efforts in one of our class, whereby the lecturers and the students, we identify businesses in some place, in some states. We reach them. We give free, what we call it, free talks, yeah, module on how they can enhance their digital literacy, financial literacy, which basically can affect their intention to use the financial automation system. So that one of the things that we can do from our end to help them. All right, in addition to all those, help with the facilities. Yeah, sometimes they don't even have a computer, right? So that's the reasons why. And for them, investing in the software is risky and take a lot of money. So they would prefer to invest in something else, let's say, to expand their business in terms of opening another shops, let's say. So there are many considerations that we need to, that we need to tackle off when dealing with those who are really, uh, really difficult to convince to use all those financial information system. I hope I answer your questions.
All right. All right. Thank you very much, Doctor. All right. So is there any question, dear students? Or everything clear? Okay, to see that you are still here, could you please give us a reaction? So you can use your thumbs up or the love for the reaction. All right. Okay, Mariam Diaz. Okay, still in this Zoom meeting. Yeah. Thank you very much for the reaction, everyone. All right. So if there is no question, I think we can wrap up this session. Or Dr. Mai, so is there any quizzes for the students or is
Yeah,
it
I do have
yeah.
quizzes for the student.
Mhm.
What should I do? Should I put in the e-learning or should I put it here in the chat section?
All right, Miss Alit, is it okay to share the link in the assignment in the chat box or it should be in the LMS? Hello, Miss Alit. Ah, okay. So the quizzes can be shared in this Zoom meeting. Yeah. All right.
Okay, wait a moment. Yeah, I will paste the link. You guys can do it later. Okay, wait a moment. Copy and paste quiz for today's module. All right, there you go.
Wait a moment. I should copy paste again since Dr. Mais directly give me the link. Yeah. I'm so sorry. Right. Okay, so everyone, I have already researched the link. So kindly check in the chat box. All right, regarding the attendance form, we will share shortly. Yeah. Okay, so uh, have everyone access? Can you access the link, everyone? Or do you have a problem to access the assignment? Okay, so I think that's for today's everyone. So you guys can still do the assignment, yeah. But today maybe we can close the session first. All right, thank you very much, Associate Professor Dr. Maizaitulaidawati binti Md Husin for this wonderful explanation today. And yeah, so I will share the feedback and attendance list to you guys. All right, I have shared the feedback and attendance link. Please fill out this link to get an e-certificate, yeah, later on. Right. So before we end the session, please turn on your camera, your video. We are going to take a picture together to capture this moment. Yeah. All right. So please open your camera. All right. Great. Okay. So I will count until three. Wait a moment. One, two, three. Okay. Wait a moment. I will count again. Okay, next slide. Please put your best smile. One, two, three. All right. Okay, thank you very much, everyone, for joining us today. So don't forget to join next week. Yeah, next week we will still have another session on the topic of blockchains on October 4th, 2025. So don't forget to join again. I will share the link, the Zoom link again to you via email. Yeah. Thank you very much, Doctor, for today's session. Yeah, and Miss Alit also, thank you very much, and Dr. Tora for attending the session. Yeah, and all students, thank you very much for your participation, your active participation. Thank you very much. See you on next session. Yeah, on next Saturday. Thank you very much. I bid you a goodbye. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thanks, everyone. Bye bye. Have a great
Goodbye. Thank
evening.
Thank you very
you.
much. See you.